So anyways, welcome to another wonderful PIC show, April Fool's Edition, hosted by yours truly, Miss Dragon Slayer. We are also with DG, Dave, and Josh this evening.
Hey
Hello.
everyone. Hey.
Howdy, people.
I love you. Especially to any of my friends who are watching via Facebook.
Excellent, excellent. So we're going to start off the show today talking about anyone who got or gave some April Fool's pranks. So start her out there, people. DG, you got any?
No.
None? You didn't
Zero.
give no one a prank?
You got pranked though.
Oh, well, I get
I'll
pranked
tell-
about.
You did get pranked.
You didn't do nothing with your mom?
No.
All right, Dave.
I have it on good standing. You got pranked.
Oh, good. Hopefully you guys will carry it better than I can, because nope, I did not get pranked.
You didn't get pranked and you didn't give one.
I did not give one. I'm not really a big joker like that, you know. I'm a boring guy. I'm sorry.
You're a serious man.
That's right. Sometimes.
Dave on about business.
Josh, any today?
Yes, I did not get pranked, but I did give out a prank. And that's the reason I asked DG if he was being serious or honest when he said he was pranked or not, because DG was part of my prank.
Oh yeah, last night.
Yes, when it hit around 1 o'clock in the morning, I had come in and told everybody that I had won $20,000 on an instant scratch off. And everybody thought that they started asking me for loans and giving me congratulations. I was saying, yeah, but I'm not going to get the whole $20,000. I have to pay some of that in tax, etc., etc., and how happy I was and how happy everybody was for me. And then I gave them the whopping April Fools, and it was fun and funny. And it wasn't like in like a horrible way where I made people feel bad. But it was funny.
Has anyone... Oh, well, we have Queen. Queen, did you give or get any pranks today? April...
Did I get any what?
April Fool's prank.
Oh, no, No, I didn't really even talk to anybody, and people know not to play with me.
Serious?
My twin brother's birthday was today, though. I had two with my brothers who were twins' birthday was today.
Queen was the only one that didn't believe me on my prank. My $20,000 scratch off. Everybody else did though.
Mama ain't raised no fool. You can't get shit past the black queen, okay?
Jason didn't believe it at first, but he eventually believed it.
My soul sister Jason ain't crazy either.
Yeah, but he eventually fell for it.
Mason.
He said pants on fire first, but then he was like, no. Oh my God, congratulations.
It's hard to believe that white people
you got it, Josh. You got it, Josh. A nice laugh. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it was nice April Fools.
I did get one myself today, but because it was so unoriginal, I caught on really quick, and I ended up playing the prank back to the person. And that was my daughter. She decided to send me a message saying she was pregnant.
The oldest trick in the book.
Yep, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Is what I
can't wait to be a grandma.
I can't wait to be a grandma. Oh my God, what do you do?
That set off a red flag.
That's awful. Terrible.
Yeah, it's great.
The last one I tried to trick people, I like saying out there I got a chick pregnant. I did that a couple of years ago. A couple people, got a couple of people on that.
Better watch out, man. They'll take you serious.
Your mom's gonna beat you over the head with a frying pan.
No, she didn't know about it.
Tell you, DJ, about getting the women to pregnant.
No, she didn't know about it. 'Cause I did video on Facebook.
That's right. Getting her too
My
She'll
mama don't know won't hurt her.
long.
I'll beat you over the head with a frying pan.
We're welcoming Neil.
Welcome back to our NLC
Man, good to see you.
event.
A brief hiatus, and Neil is back in the
Care
house.
been dealing with family matter. He's back now. We're welcome back our brother.
Yeah. So I guess Neil's in the spotlight right now if he says hello.
Hello?
Alright, there you are.
What's up, man?
Oh,
Any April Fool's pranks or anything today, man?
No pranks here.
No pranks on Neil's part. Okay.
okay, has anyone actually done a really good prank? Maybe not today, but on another one?
No, not really.
I have been pranked really good before, though. But it wasn't in reference to me. It was like this dude. He told me he got this big contract, and he was man. He really led me all the way down through it. It's a friend of mine that I talked to often, and I was so happy for. I was posting all this happy shit. I was like, yeah, man, I can't wait to see it, man. You gonna get on the plane and meet the guy? When you gonna meet the people? He was like, nah, April Fools. Everything good, man. And you know what? That legitimately pissed me off because you played with my fucking feelings. Because I was legitimately trying to help that dude and be friendly and shit. And, dude, I was so damn happy. I was like, dude, I knew you could do it. I mean, you're smarter than you thought you were. Look at you, man. You pulled it off. I was giving all kind of compliments and shit. These fucking April Fools. So, yeah.
I actually gotta like it that one though.
Man,
I can see how that it would be like angry, but
dude, it fucked up my whole
sometimes
day,
that's
man.
important.
It fucked up my whole day.
Damn.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, it's great to see everyone.
Yeah,
It is great to
likewise.
see you too, Neil.
Likewise.
Yes, your brothers and sisters miss you.
It has been a while, and we welcome you back into the flock.
It's been hard without my arch eminence, my ultimate, what do you call it, debater, partner, arch nemesis.
No
Nemesis
rivalries here. No
I'll tell
rivalries
you what, Neil, I thought it would be difficult, like clotting DG by myself, and it hasn't. It's been really easy.
Spit it out, motherfucker. Spit it out.
Has it been that long? Do they know about his mother? She came on.
I told him the next day, but I said Neil was there, but he had to leave, so I don't really have any factual evidence to back this up. I don't have another person to like co-sign for me. So I got to tell him a little bit.
Oh, hey, David.
Yeah.
So everyone's back
Last
now?
night,
I know
yeah.
Dragon was gone. I think I left when she came back.
Yep.
Dragon comes back for the shows, and she pops in every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And DG still is into like 500, 600-pound women. So that's just DG.
That white keep spreading that lie.
I've been MIA for a bit. In and out.
But he definitely told me this.
David's back too.
Sometimes I've been in and out.
Dave pops in and out. He usually tries to make it in for a show here or there.
Okay.
Yeah, you missed a couple good. We had a couple good topics. You missed, like Queen had a good topic talking about death penalty. I had a good topic talking about your life experiences and life experience, and what, if you could go back and change something, what would it be? Night did a topic on video games. What was the last show that you was on?
It was before the March 2nd episode, yeah.
I don't even remember, man.
The world right now.
Right after I got out of the hospital.
Yeah, the AZ did a show talking about sexual relations.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
the
was
only
the
one we
last
could
one.
monetize.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
by the way,
in.
I monetized the
Oh, that's right.
shows.
You want to talk about that offline or?
I just everybody that I told on my Facebook that may be watching, they're potential joiners. So I said we have monetized.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other things that we'll talk about off air.
All right.
Yes, I keep forgetting we are live now.
Yes, we
You,
are.
Jackie.
So, taking it back to our topic for today. So, today I've picked the topic of cultural appropriation. And the first question of the evening is, has cultural appropriation gone too far or not far enough? And should we be allowed to confront those who take on other people's cultures as their own and scold them for it? And we'll start with Dave.
Ah, I got caught. Let's see. Well, the first thing I did when I heard the topic was went to the dictionary and I googled the meaning of the word appropriation. And one of the definitions is a deliberate act of acquisition of something, often without the permission of the owner. And I know a couple of days ago, Dragon posted a video of the guy with the dreadlocks, white guy with the dreads, and this black woman stopped him. And to the point of grabbing his arm, pulling the guy towards her, and trying to debate and confront him on the issue of wearing dreadlocks. And just reading this definition, the excerpt, often without the permission of the owner. So it's like, okay, so we're talking about cultural appropriation, stealing from a culture, and we're talking about the concept of owning a culture, owning a subset or a piece, of a culture. So now you have to raise the question, well, who owns hair? You know? Because if you're going to raise the question and say, in reference to that video, I'm sure many might have seen it already.
I did.
If you're going to get mad at somebody for wearing hair that's quote unquote yours, well, let's invert it. Let's say the white guy was wearing his own style, and then one day he had the bright idea, you know what? I want to wear dreadlocks. Now, who does he have to go to ask permission? You know? Can he just approach any African American male or female on the street and get their approval? Is there some sort of council that he must go to? Must he secure votes? How ridiculous can this get? Does he have to go to the tribal council and get somebody's approval on whether he can wear the hairstyle or not? So when you deal with the definition, you often get to the root of the matter, I think. So it's like without the permission of the owner. So it's like, who do I talk to? Do I got to find the guy wearing dreads at the college? You didn't ask him, hey man, I'm a white guy. I want to wear dreads too. What do you think? And then what makes his words hold any authority? What makes him the black authority?
The representative.
What makes him the representative? And what makes his words hold? Wait, go ahead, Dragon.
I was just going to say, and who is to say that one particular culture who may identify with that particular, like in this instance, hair, was the true owner to begin with of that hairstyle? Because if we're going back in history, and I wish Rabbi was here because he's that history guy, there are many cultures in history that actually had dreadlocks that were of Caucasian descent.
Right.
So, which culture would you be asking the permission from?
There you go.
Yeah.
Because somebody's got to be the authority,
Mm-hmm.
Because
you might need a time machine.
There you go. It's like
where's Ted's Big Adventure phone booth?
Yeah.
I mean, well, the Greeks, the Vikings, several others I can't place them now.
Oh,
cool. Well, these are medieval hairstyles, but I'm looking at some right now. But the thing is that who are you? Who has the authority to tell you that it's okay? I mean, what's a football player or somebody with dreads? I can't think right now. I'm so sleepy. Uh, you can't walk up to a football player and be like, as a white guy, and be like, you know what? Hey, can I wear your hairstyle? He's like, yeah, sure. It's like you got his approval, but what weight in society, or because I'm looking according to the definition, a deliberate act of acquisition of something often without the permission of the owner. So who owns dreadlocks? Not just dreadlocks, but braided hair. The absolute concept. And when we start misusing words like this, I think we get into a very dangerous place. But the second thing I want to get before I pass this on is don't touch me. When you watch that video, that chick grabbed that dude, pulling him, not in a violent way, but in a pestering way.
Yeah, that was a BT 1100.
See, if she caught an elbow, if she caught a knee to the stomach.
Now, did you catch the part of the video when he pushed her? And she was throwing something in the trash. She actually said, "Don't touch me."
There you go.
Oh, fuck that.
That's how it works.
Action reaction.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
As soon as
So after he had been pulled and prodded, and he pushed back with reaction, she actually had the audacity to say, "Don't touch me."
There you go. Red flag.
Yeah. So before you skip to the next person to answer that question, do you think that cultural appropriation has gone too far or not at all? And should someone be allowed to confront those who take other people's cultures of their own and scold them for it?
I think, I won't say something controversial. Let's see, what can I say? I think you can confront, but if you get a knee to the stomach, if you get punched, if you get, cussed out, pound
cake it.
If you get a slice of pound cake, I'm okay with reactions. See, what I'm saying is, because people are going to confront, because people are people. They do stupid stuff. You can't legislate that. But just let people know, if I'm just trying to head the class, I'm just walking through the halls, and next thing you know, you stop me, next thing you know, your arm is on my arm, and you pulling me towards you. What? Whoa. You're not supposed to do that,
General's warning.
Yeah, Surgeon.
You may get fucked up.
you may catch an ass whooping. But the second part is that appropriation is actually a good thing sometimes. There are many things that, you think about back in the day, what the men used to wear? They used to wear the stockings and the, I can't think back in the day, but there was a man named Beau Brummel, I believe, and he was a friend of, I think, King George, I believe. I can't get the names right. I'm so fucking sleepy. But he was a bit of a dandy, and he pioneered the use of wearing trousers, and basically pioneered the modern suit. And he convinced the king to adopt a similar dress. And you think about all across the world, that style of clothing has been appropriated.
Yeah.
To use a modern definition, a modern misused definition, not according to what I'm reading here. It has been used by every culture across the world. Everybody who came in contact with the idea of pants has adopted it. Because it's a damn good idea, right? And so I am okay with some forms of, I don't even like the word appropriation. I would just morph it and say adaptation. Because some things just work better than others. But my last point before I pass it off, I don't want to talk too long, is that we got to be wary of trying to own matters of style and taste, like, or body parts, like the size of your ass, breast, lip size, hair, right? Or even cultural things like singing, dance, I'm very wary of trying to claim ownership of those kinds of things. We did this first, we did that first, these people took this, because when you start to define yourself only along those lines, like when you start to say, I am only my hair, or I am only the size of my ass, or I am only this kind of singing, only this kind of dance, you begin to limit yourself. And I think a lot of people can benefit from taking a wide interest in things outside of their own cultures. Because I know when we think about culture, we think about like like African culture versus European cultures versus Arabic cultures versus Asian cultures and the various subcultures inside of those cultures, right?
Mhm.
But just imagine somebody who lives in Chicago. And I read this in an interview the other day. He was a digital nomad guy. He's living in I believe Singapore now or something. But he was talking about the transition he had to make to basically outgrow his neighborhood, his environment. Because where he grew up, the only thing you had was football, basketball, and entertainment. That's what he said. So he literally had to make a deliberate act to acquire something of another culture outside of his city in order to adopt a certain kind of mindset that would help him get out of his situation, right?
Mhm.
So appropriation is very valuable when it's used wisely. I don't like to see people go crazy about somebody with a hairstyle, somebody with uh, trying to enhance their lips or their bust size or it's like, dude, aren't you missing the bigger picture, man? But anyhow, I'll pass this on. I hope I gave enough ideas for y'all to have some
Yeah.
food.
There's
Yeah.
other parts to the question. There's 3 questions tonight, so that was a good start for question 1. So, Queen, are you wanting to chime in, girl? I see your eyes.
Okay, wait, there I am. I couldn't unmute my mic.
There you go.
Okay, yes. And repeat the question, the first question.
Okay, so the first question is, sorry, let me get it here. Has cultural appropriation gone too far or not far enough? And should we be allowed to confront those who take on other people's cultures as their own and scold them for it?
I definitely think it has went too far. For a recent example, Beyonce and I can't think of the guys who she put that music video out with or whatever, the Indian little thing video or whatever, and everyone was tripping, saying she was appropriating their culture because she made a video dressed like them. Like, I don't understand how that was appropriating their culture. But, I definitely think it's gone too far because everything somebody does, people are just hollering, "Oh, they're trying to steal our culture." Like when Kylie Jenner did that little video, that little thing, that photo shoot with the black face, but I don't even think it was black face. She was like gray, and they were saying it was black face. I'm like, she looks like an alien, not a black person. Like, yeah, I definitely think it's smart because every little thing someone does, they say, "Oh, you're appropriating culture, and I'm gonna sue," and this, that, and the third.
Hmm. I heard
So,
about the
yeah.
Beyonce thing.
Yeah, so if anyone who's watching hasn't watched her video, I think it was being shot during what they do is they throw colors on each other. I can't remember what celebration it is.
I forget. They have like a celebration for every day of the year.
Yes. Hey, they love to party. So
Happy people.
don't hate.
Lottie
But
die, we like to party.
yeah. So that's a good example of you know of someone as big named as Beyonce being pointed out as someone who is doing some cultural appropriation, but went too far.
Hmm.
If anyone wants to know, my other questions of the evening are as follows. So following up on that question is, what do you consider to be things that are cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation? And what out of these things you listed overly offend you, or does it offend you at all? So that'll be the next question. So we will touch base on the difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. So I think a lot of people don't understand that some people may take it as a appropriation where other people might consider it to be appreciation.
Hmm.
And so we'll get to that after. So anything else, Queen, on you say it's gone too far. So
Yes, and I would love to start off your next question, actually, but yeah, that's it. I think it's gone too far.
yeah. Let's go to DG. DG, what do you think? Has cultural appropriation gone too far or not too far enough?
Uh,
Uh, Come on,
The
DG. You want to pass? Pass the torch?
wheel
yeah,
is
yeah, I
going.
mean, pass now
Okay,
because I was
we're passing the torch to Josh.
got me off guard.
Um, do I think cultural appropriation? Number one, I really, honestly, to skip to one of the other parts of the questions, I don't think that it's really that big of a deal. Um, be it with hairstyles or with the black culture wearing polo shirts, like that became a thing for a while. I didn't really give a fuck. I mean, that was an old white man thing.
I was back in the day, man. It's high school,
Yeah,
man.
that was an old white man thing.
Making me feel old, man. Dr. Collins.
Yeah, I meant at the polo
But
shirts.
be like polo shirts or hairstyles. Maybe I could say
Doc Martens were big.
Doc
Man.
Martin. Maybe the only person I could say that may have taken it from appreciation or just, wearing a different style. That's the way I kind of look at it. So what? People wear we don't want everybody to walk around looking like robots. Rachel Dolezal, maybe I will say she took it too far to where she actually thought she was a different culture. It's like a bit of insanity.
Good point, man.
Transracial, maybe her. Other than that, depending on the type of clothes you wear, the type of hairstyles you have, or again, what Dave was saying when it came with the suits. I mean, not everybody wears suits. I mean, what are all white people going to throw their hands up and say, "Hey, black people, you can no longer wear suits. I don't care what style of suit you wear. You can't wear it because this is cultural appropriation, and we're tired of you taking our European ways." And no, I'm done with it. I think cultural appropriation is a bullshit word made up by PC Nazis.
Yes, the PC police.
Neil, chiming in? Or
well, when it comes down to it, nobody really has a pattern on behavior because as a human race or human culture changes from time to time, so many times it's just like at some point or another, one culture used to do what this culture does now, and it's just like for me, nothing's new under the sun, and so when you get down into it, it's really over the top, and I think that uh, it is a little stretched, like unnecessary cultural appropriation. Uh, as far as people, the energy people give to the term, I think it's just simple. You're just borrowing elements from someone's culture that you like. But I think it depends on the person's intentions and I guess knowing who they are. Uh, for me, anyways, if they don't know who they are, maybe they borrow different cultures to try to have some sense of self-identity. But uh, for the most part, what I see is people just appreciating other cultures, like Eminem, for example. I don't think that you know I don't think he was appropriating anything. I think he grew up around a certain culture and he embraced it because I mean he was raised around urban culture and a lot of African Americans or whatnot. So
Yeah,
I
same thing
mean,
with R&B singer John B.
yeah, I don't. I mean, they have an appreciation, what you were saying earlier, Dragon. A lot of people I'm seeing just appreciating other cultures and embracing them versus,
Yeah,
you
Well,
know, like
another person is Tina Marie.
I can elaborate even more because when we discuss about cultural, I think people forget that cultural is not a race.
Yep.
And a lot of things that have been coming up that have been dubbed cultural appropriation has been more of a race thing than a cultural thing because it goes back to the idea of Eminem. He grew up in a culture of hip hop and rap. So it was just natural for him to do what he was surrounded with. But racially, it wasn't something that was considered a race appropriation. So I think a lot of times when people use the word cultural, I think they forget that culture has nothing to do with race. Even with the
well,
video,
sometimes it does.
sometimes.
Sometimes it does. I think, well, there's a thin line between
No,
Because,
believe me, Eminem got put to the test.
but
yeah.
Yeah,
He had to pay dues, man.
example. Okay, here's an
yeah,
example.
pay dues, just like John B, Tina Marie.
Here's an example. Jamaicans, Rastafarians, have been very well known to having dreadlocks. But Jamaica
Yeah,
has many races in their culture. In
Very
Jamaica,
true.
there are a lot of white people who live in Jamaica. So if that guy, for instance, was from Jamaica and he was walking around, the first thing she would see is a white guy with dreads. Yet he could be the one person who culturally it's appropriate to have that hairstyle where he comes from. But she wouldn't have known that because she looked at his race and not where he was from and his culture.
yeah,
And
So,
when we get too far into it, it's just like we become disorganized and start to become prejudiced,
Hmm.
and
Ugh.
stereotypes and stuff are born out of this particular topic.
But you know what's crazy? What I think I'm seeing is that we're giving a license to certain kinds of people to be able to confront everybody on what they're doing wrong. But
yeah,
in
yeah.
turn, they can't ever be
The
confronted about
ones you
what they're
consider
doing.
as the quote unquote dumbasses tend to have the loudest voice.
Yeah, I mean, like they get to confront. I mean, like the thing that bugged me when I saw the videos that she had full license. The people standing around her, because like there was this guy in this coat, he was standing around. Some other people just walking, and she just had full license to engage this guy aggressively. He was just walking to class. She's dragging him back, trying to talk to him. I call that aggressive because I
Yep.
don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah,
I mean, who are you, right? So this is what I'm bothered by because it's like we're letting certain people have free reign to be able to challenge others, but they can never be challenged. If anything that they do has to come into question, oh no no no, don't challenge me, don't pull me off to the side, don't
yeah,
question my behavior.
now,
I'm untouchable, and
now,
that's a very dangerous concept.
let's turn the tables. Let's say she had a hairstyle that was a basically we all know we're going to call it out a weave, and a white person confronted someone wearing a weave and behaved the way that she did for wearing a weave,
There you go.
would that person be allowed to do that?
I told my brother about this morning. It's exactly. I flipped it around. I was like, if it was a black woman with a weave and a white dude came up, started talking shit, grabbed her and pulled her back and said, "You taking my women's culture, their hairstyle, whatnot." That would have been hell to pay.
yeah,
That dude would have lost his job if he had one. If he had an internship, it would
yeah,
have been gone. He would have been suspended from the
yeah, yeah.
school. His fucking
That's where
financial aid would be
the
cut.
hypocritical side come out.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. See, what we're doing is we're giving license to certain kind of people to be able to engage people ignorantly, and everybody just stand around and watch. They just go, "Oh look, a circus is
Yeah,
about to unfold," and then they whip out their cameras. But if you reverse any of the variables in that equation, you will have a volatile situation. And and if it was a man, you already know he's losing his job. Fuck that.
yeah,
Wherever you work at, it's gone, buddy. You know, because he was
So
aggressive. Why do you touch this defenseless woman? Blah blah blah. You know.
Well, let me ask you, Dragon. Do you consider females? Uh, would there be a such thing as female culture? Is or you don't consider that? I don't know.
No, reword that one, Neil. Try again. So,
Uh, I mean, because culture just means it's just a conglomerate of behavior patterns and you know
okay,
yeah, behavior patterns and food and
okay. So going
like
back,
I don't know if
going back to my original statement in regards to the difference between a race appropriation versus a cultural. Um, when it comes to women, I mean, in this particular instance, this black woman who is obviously, if you were to read more into her as a person by her interaction, she would be considered a pro-black because
yeah,
cultural
Yeah.
appropriation has seemed to be a big word in that movement. If anything pertaining to hair or certain other things, they'll start using different, pro-black manual kind of speeches and interactions. So she comes across as being a pro-black movement person. Hence why the guy in the trench coat was probably standing there too, because he
Yes.
probably was one just like her. It becomes very, when you have movements that are pushing an agenda, which seems to be, this is a big one now, the cultural appropriation, is that it's only going to be one-sided, and it's very dangerous because we all take from different cultures, especially if you live in countries where there's so many multicultural, people around you. You're going to have an influence at some point in time. Um,
yeah,
I grew up in Vancouver, so I had a lot of Asian influence. So, I mean, if I decorated my house in Asian culture or ate Chinese food, I mean, at what point would I now go from appreciation to appropriation
Mm-hmm.
because I like something, but it may not be of the culture my family was from,
Uh-huh.
you know?
I got a
So,
good one for you, Dragon.
okay.
Wu-Tang. That's all I gotta say. Wu-Tang. Prime
Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
example of somebody who borrowed a lot from Asian cultures, and that's appreciation.
Yeah.
Oh, who got the echo? That's appreciation. That's a fine example of it. And like you said, being from Vancouver, let's say heavy Asian influence, and you designed your home according to, let's say, the principles of feng shui, right? Now, can some Asian person just start cussing you out on the street after they
Like
after they
you can't
leave the
have
dinner
that
party?
Chinese You can't have the Chinese lion in your front yard. Like
Hmm.
in your entranceway. That's an Asian. You're stealing our culture.
You know how
Um,
many you know how many hippie white women got a Buddha, a stone Buddha?
well, here's the
In the,
thing. Another movement that I didn't bring up in my questionnaire, but
okay.
I will say has been a topic I've seen on Facebook. Is about
Oh.
how now they're starting to use yoga as also a cultural appropriation, uh,
Oh.
and and how people are now getting criticized for doing yoga because they're not from India.
Hmm. You know what? That's pretty interesting because yoga. There's two facets to this. I know a lot of the yogis are um, sort of disappointed at the West that's basically capitalized it, turned it into a business.
Mhm.
But there's an issue there. You got to have a problem with all of those yogis who came from India in the 1920s, in the 1930s, because there were so many dudes. Even I think about Zen, like the Zen teacher Shunro Suzuki, he came over decades ago. So when a CEO starts talking about how he meditates, and then Inc. magazine puts out a thing and says, "Hey, if you want to be like this, you need to meditate, you need to do yoga," because we found out that Oprah, Sarah Blakely, freaking Mark Zuckerberg, all these dudes, they do yoga and meditate. You can't get angry and start talking about appropriation when it was the same forefounders of that art form in India who desired to have a wider audience of students here in America. Because those dudes, I was curious. That's curious that you brought that up, Dragon. Because just a couple of days ago, I was reading that in a magazine about, I can't think of the yogi's name, but a lot of those guys came over from India to teach, and it's only that it's become popular, you know, that everybody has a problem. I mean, even spiritual teachers from India came over. I mean, Judah Krishnamurti is one of my influences. I mean, he came over and taught in California mostly, but I don't know. I think what people don't like is when they see the outside culture, whoever it is, pick up whatever that they have learned from the original culture, and I hate to say it this way, but do it better than they do it.
Yeah. White woman.
Like, for example, if a yogi, Indian yogi, comes over and he's just an obscure guy. I mean, he don't know nothing about business. He just wants to show you how to get into cat-cow and downward dog and, you know, that kind of shit. Crow pose. And the white dude says, you know what? I'm going to take this yoga that I learned from my master here, and I got to bring it to athletes. Because I know football players think they're real macho and they don't need to do no ego pose and all this other stuff. But I'm going to position it to a way that they will accept it. And then he does that, and he becomes a millionaire. Now, does that make him a stealer of culture? Or just somebody who saw that athletes had a need, they need to be limber, they need to have flexibility and mobility, and he took an art form that really helped him overcome his knee injury or something, and he gave it to them. So now why is he a bad guy for doing that? And he said, oh, it's because the Indian man wasn't able to do that, because he was just teaching one student at a time out of his Bikram studio, you know, starving to death, eating one bowl of rice and shit.
Another person who brought art over. Remember, Bruce Lee brought.
Yeah, you got martial arts of all different styles.
Yeah. They know black man
Yeah, I
doing
was
karate,
saying
man,
in the
he's stealing
beginning
culture.
about what is the person's intentions, you
Yes.
know, to borrowing for borrowing elements of another culture. You know, what are their intentions? Is it to, you know, is it greed, or is it to you know, are they using it to, you know, help them? Is it for their growth, their own personal growth, or is it just, you know, to use people,
Yeah,
you know, to manipulate people?
good point. So how do you draw the distinction?
Yeah.
Because I can kind of understand why a culture would be concerned if, you know, someone from another culture or whatnot started to, you know, adopt a lot of the other cultures, because it's kind of like if too many people saturate it, then it will lose its, you know, its value,
Yes,
because people are taking and make it into something else, and that's not, you know, what it was originally
I
conceived to.
agree wholeheartedly, man, because
Well,
that's exactly what's happened
what
to
if,
modern yoga.
Yeah, just like Bruce Lee got pushed back from bringing over this
but then I would feel like,
martial arts to the
I would,
U.S.
I mean, you could look at the history of hip hop. I mean, I would think that someone who originally got into doing hip hop would be offended by what's out there now, because
True.
what started as being something
Yeah.
amazing and lyrical has turned into this white, I don't know what to call it, but what it is today.
Commercial.
Well, that's a great point, Dragon, because it's like, and the people who are offended about what it has become today, they're of the same race of the
Yes,
people who have destroyed it.
yes.
And so it's like, we look at it as a race versus race thing. Like, Indians, they're like Asians in that context,
Oh,
and
Asia.
Europeans, it's like these fucking Europeans again. But what happens when it happens inside the same race? What do you call that?
Yeah, I mean, what the Pilgrims and the Westerners that came over to the United States, would they be considered appropriating by adopting a lot of ways of survival from the Native Americans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
that's an
tricky,
interesting
man.
question.
It's tricky.
It is tricky. So I guess we're going to go on to the next question, which is, and I'll repeat it again, what do you consider to be things that are cultural appropriation and versus cultural appreciation? And out of these things that you list, does any of them offend you at all?
I have to start this one with my old example, Wu-Tang. A fine example of what it means to appreciate another culture and to spin it in a way where you put your own flavor on it. I would have to say another example would be, I don't want to use just music, 'cause that's like the easiest example in the world. But I would say business. There's a book that people love to read who are in business. Uh, uh, Fucking Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Almost forgot it. And a lot of guys who subscribe to that book, they talk about how the ancient principles back in those days, you might think it's just a book on war, but you can flip it, sort of twist it a little bit, and it can work well for succeeding in the business world. And it's like a head nod, it's like a tip of the hat to the Asian culture at that time. Those are two examples I can think of.
Josh, haven't heard from you in a bit.
Do I think there are cases where cultural appropriation has gone too far?
Well, I mean, a lot of things that we've been discussing already has been more of, I think, appropriation is not the right word that people are using for things that they see, like dreadlocks. It's more of an appreciation. So is there anything out there that could be considered to be an appropriate cultural appropriation definition of what,
That's
and so list something that you think would fall under cultural appropriation more than it would cultural appreciation.
I guess I'll have to go more hypothetical here than anything else. Maybe when like a society has been completely conquered and the new society that has taken the place of the old society borrowed things from that culture, I would say that would be more like cultural appropriation than anything else.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
DG, since you never did answer the first original question, you want to chime in?
I think with cultural appreciation is like artists that grew up listening to a certain type of music and they generally when they decide to do music they do that type of music. Like for example, like John B grew up listening to R&B, so he became R&B singer. The late Tina Marie, she like listened to a lot of like old R&B songs. And Eminem too. Eminem grew up like in hip hop, so he decided to become a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that people nowadays who are kind of pushing this cultural appropriation are really just trying to stir the pot where once was considered cultural appreciation is now something that is offensible by scolding? Like,
Yes.
like I said, I grew up with a lot of Asian culture, but if this movement was getting so big that, I'd have my Asian friends start scolding me for stealing their crap because I was influenced by it, do you think that would be appropriate? I mean, should it be something that people should just be okay with or should it just be outright just, if it's not your culture, don't do it? Are we in that world?
Yeah, I feel like the media, like their whole agenda is to keep people separate, to keep people away from coming together and uniting and finding differences and marrying our differences. I mean, because every time like something happens, the subject
We
comes
start
out
to a
of
race
whatever
war.
incident.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a race war
That's
or a
foolishness.
class war.
Or
It's just like,
a sexual orientation war.
yeah, it's
Hell,
not a
even the war
problem
between the
until they
genders,
start
man.
mentioning it.
You ain't gonna make me hate women. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And then they scream at the top of their lungs about how everybody should come together.
It's like the ones who shouldn't be speaking tend to have the loudest voice, and the ones that should be
Yeah.
saying something be over talked by the ones that really shouldn't be talking.
But this is so interesting, though. When Dragon brought up yoga, I googled around for a bit and I clicked into some websites, and it made me think of something. I noticed a lot of Indian based websites, even in America, they don't have great looking sites, they don't take good looking photos, they're not good at marketing. And I think a lot of times it's sour grapes. I don't want to, I don't want to sound insensitive, but I think sometimes it's sour grapes where somebody sees someone use what they thought they had better than they have it. And it's like you almost witnessed it being taken right from your hands, but really you were the one who lost control of it. But instead of dealing with the responsibility of, oh, it was me who didn't know how to market my product. You know how like you hear about the guy who sees something on TV, he says, you know what, I thought of that invention, I could have made that. It's like,
Yeah.
but you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't. And I think where people sort of hit their heads is that generally in American culture, European culture in America, white folks, they generally have an understanding of the details better than most. I even hate to use this word. I'm using a lot of words that I hate tonight. What the fuck? Minorities.
Hey,
See,
man, go ahead.
a lot of minorities, I hate that word, man. But they might miss the details, you know? And so you might have a great idea within your enclave, within your community, within your people, and it gets squandered because you don't know how to best utilize it. But then an outsider comes along and he says, you know what, all you gotta do is twist it this way, put it this way, write the copy this way, make the website this way, take the photo this way. And next thing you know, it's a big business. And then it creates this intense bitterness. Like every time we see these people, they take what we have and they make so much more of it than we do. But it's like, dude, no, you didn't take advantage.
Right.
And I don't want to run on too long. I'm sure you get the meaning that I'm trying to convey. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I'm
keep
enjoying
going, Dave.
Okay. Well, now let me stop. Let me quit while I'm ahead, man. Don't get my ego involved. Shit.
Well, we're lacking a lot of people today, so we need a lot more content. So by all means, go for it.
So we're
Yeah,
missing
okay.
like 5 people, so.
Let me take a deep breath here. Let's see. But like back to my original point, without the permission of the owner, appropriation. See, I even heard people talk about if you really want to know what words actually mean, don't get an Oxford dictionary after 1970 because so many changes to the words. People are spinning things around. They're trying to redefine the meaning of things. Get you some old dictionaries, and also get a etymology dictionary as well, because knowing what the words actually mean. I mean, words is what we use to communicate. Without words, we're savages. I mean, we're still savages in a way, but it's like words kind of elevate it a little bit. But I really agree with what Neil said. The whole system, this whole construct, is designed for us to be separate. And it's to keep us cloistered off from each other, It's like when slavery was going on, the white dude had to know that even though my job was being taken by people who were being brutalized to work for free, he had to be made to believe that was okay. So like when we get these differences, when we get even differences between the genders or, anything, it's like the other person is being hurt too, because that's what a society means. We're sort of linked together here, right? And the way the media is designed is to always create a new separation.
Mm-hmm.
So today is dreadlocks. Next it's gender. Next it's religion. Next it's yoga. Next it's food. Oh man, vegans versus vegetarians versus pescatarians versus meat eaters, omnivores. Oh man, some of the most disgusting arguments you ever hear in your life.
Yeah, I've been a part of some of those arguments, and they're not very fun.
Oh man, they're not fun, especially when you hear.
Some people don't want to debate; they just want to call you. If you eat meat, when it comes to some vegans or vegetarians,
Dude, they be
they call
wishing
you a
cancer
murderer.
on you, man.
Oh yeah.
You talking about you're some yoga, you're some yoga chakra cleansing, pineal gland decalcifying hippie.
Yeah,
the
dude
first
get
thing
brutal.
oh man, wishing death on people, wishing cancer.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yes, we do live in
Yeah.
a world where, like, literally everything has gone, like, on steroids. So instead of
Yes.
something just being an argument, the next thing you know is die, bitch, die. You know, like
Yeah.
a truck runs in your living room and runs your whole family over. Like, people have taken it to a whole different level. And I think,
Yeah. At the line to be.
that video is a pure
Mhm.
example of the movement that we're starting to see with the political correctness,
Yes.
is that now everything is starting to become this offended. You know,
Yes.
everyone's getting
Wait, what's this?
offended.
What's this video? You guys keep talking about.
I'll send it to you.
Something
Give me a
happening.
second.
Okay, so if anyone hasn't, I actually put it in the trailer for our show tonight, and if I could find it again.
I'm
It's,
fine. Give me
yeah.
a second.
So if
Well, so
anyone,
yeah, brief me. What happened? Just
okay,
like
so
brief.
I mean, obviously, the person who started the video was in the middle of what the confrontation. Now, I've heard the story of how the confrontation started, and where it picked up, where they started videotaping. So basically, from what I gather, she was giving out pamphlets. She was at this university. She was giving out pamphlets for some sort of black organization. I have no particular idea of what it was, but she was there.
Yeah, it might have been Black Lives Matter. Probably was
Yeah,
there.
something pertaining to some sort of thing going on in the campus. And I guess this guy was asking for a pamphlet or whatever, and she said, "No, I don't want your kind there." And that's where the confrontation happened, of where she started talking about his hair and getting on his case about his hair and how dare he steal her culture. And that's where the video starts saying that, you know, like, why, the guy saying, why are you, like, you know, confronting me about my hair? And he tried, you know, it's originally from Egypt. Are you from Egypt? And, you know, and then she just kind of just kept on going at him, and he tried to go away, and she grabbed him while he was trying to walk away, and he shoved her. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so, you know, like, he's basically saying, how dare you even confront me about my hair, and walked away. And then the video ends with her confronting the person videotaping, and she's like, why are you videotaping me? He's like, for everyone's safety, and she grabbed the camera.
I mean, I forgot the camera grab. Oh man, I forgot about that.
You get one person on the side to scream "World Star," and it would have just been perfect.
Yeah, except the person videotaping was a white guy, because you can tell. You know, he wasn't there to, like, put it on World Star. He was doing it because obviously this black girl was being scary.
She was probably bothering everybody that day.
That sounds,
you know, and that's what
Yeah,
happens.
that's right.
And that's what's happening with these movements, is that all of a sudden what used to be something that might have been a sideline discussion has turned into confrontation, where people feel that it's okay to just confront people in an aggressive manner without any real facts, just for the fact that whatever has been repetitively said to them over and over again, which a lot of these movements do. They'll give you all this story, and it's just, they just are like parrots. They just keep repeating it.
Yeah, like the liberals' fault.
Well,
I don't know if it's the liberals.
Don't dump it on liberals, because I'm a liberal. If I was to define myself, I'm a liberal.
I mean, extreme liberal.
I also believe that, like any group, there's always an extreme case to each group. And I think the political correctness part of the liberalism is something that I don't agree on.
They're the extreme ones. That's what I meant to say, not liberals. I mean extreme liberals.
There's the extreme nuts on the left side, and there's the extreme nuts on the right side.
So
it's just a poisonous climate, you know. That's what I was saying in my first point. We've given a certain group of people, based on their diminished IQ, on the right and the left, the permission to basically throw a tantrum in public, and everybody just standing around like, well, they're just doing it again, you know. Like, but like I said before, if you reverse the variables, you switch those variables around, change the race around, change the genders around, oh man, the reaction would be so different. If it was a black man stopping that dude, there would have been a fucking assault charge.
It was a black man stopping a white woman.
Yes.
Yeah, he would have been locked up. Shy
And
of
with
locked
because the
up.
standards are different.
Ass whooping.
Well, I mean, look,
Because we created this poisonous
very
climate.
easy. It's very easy to. It's like a scientific thing. If you put every variable in a bowl and you change it around, the answer would be the same. So if this is appropriate for one particular scenario, the black girl and the white boy, but it turns out that it isn't right with a black guy, black guy and a white girl, then you have your answer. It wasn't right for the first scenario.
Yes.
It can't be right for one scenario and not right for the other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree fully.
or reversing the fact that, let's say, a white guy confronted a black girl about her hair. Would it
Oh,
be
he'd be a racist. He
Yeah.
would be on the evening news.
He'd be a Donald Trump supporter.
Yeah, white superiority runs rampant at local college.
Yeah.
exactly?
And he would have lost his job if he had one.
Oh yeah,
He
he
would've
would have
lost
kicked out of school.
They would have
Yeah.
took something from him. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
He would have really felt the pain.
What I'm saying is we got a group of people in
bigotry.
this country.
I don't hear anything about people finding out this girl's name, finding out all her information. Why hasn't she been ostracized? Why has she disappeared? She should be criticized as much as if anyone else was doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of like
she should have lost her job.
with different things that have happened in the last couple of years.
So.
Yep. That's true too. I haven't thought about that.
So bringing on my third question of the evening.
You got another question,
Change it up a little bit, is are certain groups being able to rampage everyone with no or little, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Repercussion.
Backlash, I guess.
Backlash and facts. With
And are we getting to the point where being offended is your right to aggressively confront someone?
I'll go first.
And do you think that we should stop this movement of being offended and learn to go back to where it was before, where if you were offended, you shut the hell up and you dealt with it yourself? Like, should there be a movement to do this new movement of being offended and everyone trying to say, make things a bigger deal than what they used to be? Because, frankly, everyone thinks now it's a free-for-all to be offended.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, like it's a free-for-all to be offended. Like, I mean, this is not just for the cultural appropriation. I mean, there's everything now. Like, with the fact that people now are saying they don't even want to do their job if, it pertains to something that offends them, religiously, culturally, whatever. So are we getting to that point where now there's just too much and that people need to be more vocal to say, just shut up and just, if you're offended, keep it to yourself? Like, or are we going to, or if we voice this position, are we going to be dubbed the bad guy?
Yeah, we'll definitely be dubbed the bad guy. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
No, just like the Black Lives Matter movement the last couple of years, like literally trying to use their power to get in every little discussion. Like trying to say that they're right, everybody else wrong, they should listen to them, they're right.
Because everyone's being offended.
Yeah, they're getting offended by every little thing. There's a lot of hypocritical stuff they do. I think that's one of the most hypocritical groups that came out the last few years. Then also they abuse their power, like the example with the black chicken with the white dude in the dreads. See, I feel like she's probably for a Black Lives Matter and one of them extra pro. The new pro blacks, not the actual meaning of pro blacks.
Not the real ones.
Yeah, the ones who consider them hotep guys and them hotep hoes.
Egypt, yeah.
Because, like, whatever happened to, like, I mean, we used to live in a world where Halloween was that one day where you can do and be anything, and no one would judge you. And all of a sudden, you can't dress up as anything because some cultural appropriation offense is happening.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be anything. You can't be a geisha, you can't
Yeah.
be Indian, you can't be a Mexican,
Yeah.
you can't wear a sombrero if you're not Mexican. You know,
Maybe
like,
Kanye West.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, this has become, over the last few years, to a point where it's destroying some of the nicest things that, nicest memories we've all had. I'm pretty sure that if I was to bring a child in this world, or any of us would bring a child in this world, and like the next 10 years with this movement going on, I don't even know what they dress up in a garbage bag, and then someone's going to be offended that they're dressed in a garbage bag.
Yes.
You offending
Yeah,
plastic.
it seems like can't
Making
please
fun of them
nobody. Like
homeless
it seems
people.
like wherever people do, it's always somebody that sees wrong with it. Like we can't do nothing right. It's like the PDC police has taken over and shut everything down. Like can't do nothing without backlash.
Yeah, actually, this negative connotation to cultural appropriation has been going on for centuries because uh, I just thought of a guy named John. I think it's John Chang. He's a shaman in Indonesia,
Mhm.
and it wasn't until the 80s. So for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, anyone foreign, that or who weren't indigenous to Indonesia couldn't learn certain things and techniques when it comes to meditation and
Oh, that's true.
some other things that they were into. It wasn't until the 80s where they allowed, a Westerner to come in and learn,
That's a good point.
because yeah, they had a fear of someone taking these different techniques and skill trades and ruining what they've been teaching for hundreds of years.
Mhm.
So I don't know how much is just people just attaching negative
There's coffee.
connotation to it, or how much
Mhm.
is actual appropriation anymore.
Well, you gotta remember, even
Solid stuff,
when Bruce Lee started teaching
I heard about that.
the
I think I
different
watched the
versions
movie.
different versions of karate to
Yeah.
anybody that wanted to learn, he got so
Yeah,
much shit from his own people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
mean,
Cause
because it's like,
when they
would the
portrayed in
United States
Dragon.
military, would they be appropriating? Because all of what they learned is from Asia,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
judo,
So let me
grappling, all of that
ask
stuff.
you this. If something is very cultural and sacred, is the onus on the people of the culture to keep it within their own culture and for it to not leak out? And if it does leak out, would the person who
Mhm.
has adapted the new found cultural appreciation be now the person who it should be focused on? Because again, I think Neil brought it up earlier, if I'm correct, that at some point in time, who is really the problem? The people that had the culture originally, who let it leak,
Yeah,
or
Mhm.
or
That's some interesting shit, man.
I
so
mean,
I'm
because there's always somebody. I mean, somebody's going to leak it.
But
yeah.
Neil, check
Somebody's
this
going
out,
to
man.
fail.
Look, I
Yeah,
think I can pinpoint when it happened. Well, at least the point of no return. A little something called the airplane, and after that, the internet. See, right now the world is connected, and so maybe at some time it was okay to keep your special martial arts hidden away at the top of the mountain, right? Your special meditation or whatnot hidden away from the outsiders, even the outsiders of your own people. You got this special elect. I mean, every single culture and people, they always had the whole system of an elect, because even though a certain culture may have this martial art, it wasn't for everybody to practice. Or maybe some system of working with herbs or whatnot. It was designated to certain people within the community, right? But now
yeah,
with the airplane and the
Yes.
internet, everything's interconnected, and it's only going to get more
Yeah.
connected. We're not going
Yeah.
back, and I think this is sort of terrifying people uh, because we have never experienced this level of interconnectedness before, and it's only going to get deeper. Um,
Yes.
and so a lot of people they see. I think I understand what Neil's saying. It's like you see what you have wrought with your own hands in somebody else's hands, and they're out there making more of it in their way, not the way you see it, right? Because the way you see it, martial arts meant this. But when they took it and now it's in a movie, you never even thought of a movie. You never thought of a moving picture, right? You never thought of this shit. But now
They
it's
might think
existing
that's
in this form.
disrespectful to the
There you
culture.
go. You think it's disrespectful. You think it's, when people see that person, they think that is the essence of the art, not the person in the cave somewhere in Indonesia,
Right.
Yeah,
And I can
I
see both sides.
actually understand
I can see
that
both sides,
concern.
man. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
valid concern. But it's like,
yeah,
how can we go back, man? We got the internet. We got, I mean,
Unless we go into a world where we start separating everything,
Won't happen.
which won't happen.
Yeah, it won't
I mean,
happen.
that's the only way that you can actually preserve your own is if you don't interact with each other.
mhm.
Because
That's easier said than done.
once you let someone outside your culture come in, they're getting the influence. And if they like it, they're going to appreciate it and they're going to bring it into their own life. And they're
yeah,
going to spin it to, their way.
And you're trying to regulate
Yeah.
appreciation, which is unfair. I mean, you can't tell. I mean, let's think about it, man. We had in high school, DG, we're the same age, man. Back in high school,
Yeah.
we all know that white dude who could rap his ass off. We had one. He was about
Yeah.
like 6 foot tall. He had red hair, freckles,
Yeah.
but dude loved to rap. I mean, he was the
Yeah.
oddest dude. His name's Zach. I'll never forget him. A big dude, Big Zach, we called him. And he loved to rap. Now, who are we to tell him as African Americans, look, dude, you can't be rapping, man. Hold on now. This is
Yeah.
ours. I mean, seriously, when you really break it down like that, isn't that some arrogant shit? Like Neil
Yeah.
said when he first came in, there's no patents on culture, right?
Yeah.
So who are we to tell him, look, man, and look at me, I don't even rap. So I'm somebody who don't even participate in the art form lyrically. I used to make beats, but that's a whole other conversation. But I can't tell that guy what he can't do. I can't be like that woman in that video and pull the guy to the side and say, hey, what you doing with those bars, man?
Yeah.
I might not exactly know how to do it myself,
I
but
can't do it myself, man. But you
Yeah,
shouldn't do it.
yeah, back to what Dave's saying. I remember that in high school there was like other races like dressing like the hip hop style. They'll have on like t-shirts. They would have on they
Man,
would
dude,
have
I
like the
remember.
polos and I mean not polos, Sean John,
Yeah,
rock
Sean
wearing all
John,
that. Have a
so
pair of
far.
like Air Force with a Jordan.
Coolie sweaters.
Yeah,
I had a Vietnamese friend, man, named
yeah,
Hong Tran. I'll never forget him either, man.
Oh man, fucking Asians, man. The guys, man, they can break
yeah,
dance better
yeah,
than
Better than
yeah.
most black
Preach, Neil.
Just
Go ahead,
like
Greg.
remember on when 106 Park used to have Freestyle Friday, there was an Asian dude named Jen I think he's like the champ for about I think he got retired as champion of Freestyle Friday. I think he won like 7 weeks in a row, then they retired him as like a champ.
yeah. I don't
That's
have
just
a
crazy.
problem with it. I mean, I think, as the human race, we have something new that comes
Yeah,
out of a certain group of people, and that should be shared with the rest of the world.
I
Because if it
agree.
stays contained, it's gonna die. With the people that it dies out with. So it's like you have to share, some kind of advancement with the rest of the world.
See, I
Man,
think the original thing that what Neil said earlier about what exactly is a true definition of cultural appropriation is when you conquer a culture and wipe it out and then take it as your own.
yeah.
I think that's the
Yeah.
only time that it ever becomes an appropriate definition is when you literally take it from someone else, eliminate them, or stop them from doing their culture and then taking it as your own. I think.
Yes, I agree with
Other
that.
than that, everything else, I think, from the influences of your life become an appreciation if it's something other than what you were brought up as.
Yeah.
I
So,
see that, yeah.
I mean, the slippery slope is, again, as Dave said earlier, about the trousers. Like, at some point in time, Are we going to get to a point where we're going to say, hey, that's white, or that is just black, or that's just this, and you can't do that no more?
Mhm.
Like, you know, how far do we go to do this movement? Are we going to tell black people you can't play basketball anymore because that was a white sport invented by a
Yes.
white Canadian? Like,
Yeah, even the
And then take
Canadians.
it one step further. Only Canadians can play it.
yes, exactly. What
Mhm.
only white Canadians could play it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at some point in time, how do you culturally say that's mine
Yes.
when
Man, that's why I love definitions because, like I read, often without the permission of the owner, a deliberate act of acquisition of something, often without the permission
I
of the
love
owner.
your definition of saying, hey, where do we go? The council? You just have to ask one black person.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get permission?
It's like
Yes.
some Jedi order. You have to.
Is there a form you have to fill out? You know?
Yes. And you gotta wait a week for approval.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What are you saying? What are you saying about the Jedi Order? Say that again. What?
Go to the Jedi order to get permission to culturally appropriate. If the Jedi order gives you approval, whether you can train in the black arts or the Chinese arts, then
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of politics amongst the Jedi Council.
yeah.
You sound like a Jedi, Neil. You're hiding something from me, man.
I see
Yoda
Coffee
was
jumped on. I hope
great-great-grandpa.
Coffee will chime in
So
since he
yeah, we'll
jumped
get
on.
Coffee to chime in if she knows what the topic is this evening.
I just read it.
Oh, Coffee's here. Hey.
Welcome back, Neil. By the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Culture appreciation and culture appropriation. Well, that's actually a very interesting topic, considering the articles I just read not too long ago.
Sorry, a little caught up. We were giving a little bit a different example. Of course, the video that everyone pretty much has seen this week about the black girl with the white guy with dreads. That's been circulating. Another form of cultural appropriation that has been out is starting to become an issue is people doing yoga. There's been controversy that that's now a cultural appropriation activity that has now become a problem of people who are not of the Indian descent doing yoga.
Then they better start having a war with China.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I think because I brought that topic up, I mean, we're just discussing, you know, what seems to be an appreciation is now with the political correctness movement now been dubbed as an appropriation. And how far is it, you know, do you think it's going too far, not far enough? Do you think it's appropriate to confront other cultures that are doing an appreciation and pointing out that they're stealing your culture? So, floor is for you.
Well, it's a matter of perspective. It's also, you know, each culture is different. You know, you have the Indian culture, which originally was actually a culture that was to be shared, because Buddhism is is like a spin-off of Hinduism, which is in their doctrine is sharing, you know, peace and love and everything, like, you know, all the hunky-dory stuff that's in there. But then you have the more aggressive people. It all depends on how aggressive each culture is. You know, the more aggressive a culture is, the more they're going to take it as a, and this is just from, you know, personal observation. When you have an aggressive culture, say, okay, here's a good example. Native American culture, the First Nations people. Some of their cultures, they're very, you know, they were very hush-hush about a lot of rituals and stuff they did because it was something that was done among their people. And as, you know, we all know, Indians were not exactly the most peaceful, they were also very aggressive people. So your more aggressive tribes would consider it stealing, and that's where you would call, appropriation. It all depends on your culture. The black community, unfortunately, is in a standard where they're very, so anything that derives from what they consider part of their culture, they're going to look at it as stealing. And the ones that are the most loudest about it are the ones that are going to bring it to the front. Now, when you look at the more peaceful cultures, Hinduism, or in the Asian cultures, not the martial arts, because we already know, what happened with Bruce Lee and him, trying to share the, his former martial arts with the rest of the world, so people could better understand his people. He got, basically disrespected by his own people, saying, no, you don't need to share our secrets.
Yeah, he was a coon.
Yeah, basically, and he's considered, what we call, black people who sit here and talk with white people coons. He was, basically banned from his community because he wanted to share the culture so we could have a better understanding of each other.
Right.
And,
not so much coon. I mean, the word is sellout, not coon. Sellout might be a better word than coon.
It was even worse because he married a white woman that had mixed kids.
Right.
Exactly. It's one of those. It's one of those areas you don't know which one. You don't know until you really immerse yourself into somebody else's culture. And I'm not talking about in the U.S. I'm talking about a culture outside of the U.S. because anything outside of the U.S. is going to be different from our culture because our culture is such a multicultural country.
True. Yes.
I mean, we have somebody from every culture around the world that lives in the United States.
Uh-huh.
In some way, shape, or form, and we kind of merge them all together. And yoga, dishes, hot dogs that came over from, the Germans,
Yep.
which they were actually called, they weren't really hot dogs, they were sausages, but, the
Cigars.
recipe came, the recipes came from different cultures, so for somebody to come out and say that, I just want to slap them, I'm like, who the hell do you think you are? Because guess what? We live in a multicultural country.
Mm-hmm.
We have every type of culture from around the world living in this country. Now, if you want to go by countries, that's very dependent. You have China, who is very hush-hush about their culture. And
Yes.
it wasn't until just recently that we were even allowed into their country to study archaeology.
Mm-hmm. But guess what China's doing now? Well, for the past couple of decades, they've been cloning everything we put out. So are they appropriators?
Yeah, I mean, it's a double standard with China. Of course, China's kind of always been that way. Through my studies and my research, because they stole a lot of Korean ideals that was adopted into their culture. But that was mainly because a lot of their slaves that lived in the palace were Korean and Japanese, and even some from Thailand. Even one of their queens was a slave. I don't know if you've heard of Empress Ki. She was actually a Korean slave at one time that ended up becoming the Empress of China. So, like I said, it's a matter of perspective. If you take something from, which I find really funny that yoga is starting to become part of that. They're the ones that introduced yoga to everybody.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And for other people to take yoga and, immerse themselves into this religious culture it looks bad on them.
Turn it into a big business. I mean,
yeah.
There's some people that have taken yoga and turned it into a really big business, and I say, more power to them. If they were able to see that, put it in division, and turn it into a huge business, then sorry, they got that before you did.
Well, see, the thing is the reason why, and I can understand why people that who are, have made yoga a part of their life can consider it. That originally came out with the Indonesians and the Chinese, who originally had yoga, considered an insult because yoga was a way to free your spirit, and it wasn't something to monetize. It was a religious, thing. And for to see another culture like the American culture take it and monetize it, they look at it as an insult because that's not what, yoga was originally about. It was about,
It was a piece of several different other disciplines.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
The asanas are only
The
physical
concern
exercise.
is, these certain things that people borrow loses its value or its original intent because people just take the surface of what it is and do that, but that's not what it. It's like if someone comes into hip hop and let's take Iggy Azalea for example.
Yeah.
She did exactly that. She's from Australia, different culture, slightly. I mean, in a lot of ways, but she also changed her voice, to sound like another culture of people or whatever. And it just incident after incident, it was like, man, it's like she's kind of like exactly what we're saying this evening is she's I guess I don't know would you guys consider that appropriating or is that just blatant
It's a tough one because a lot of times, you'll hear the phrase of they're acting black or they're acting white, that they're doing something other than what they were raised as. I mean, I think appreciation is more of an influence rather than a total identity change. But I don't know if it falls under appropriation. Like, is she doing something with the hip hop and her demeanor that gives a black eye to the hip hop community? So is she doing something bad with it?
I think she was on a different brand than like somebody like John B or like
I don't know, man.
or Eminem.
I don't think she's any different than what's her face? The chick with the big ass sang Anaconda, Nicki Minaj.
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
Okay, now see that's where
white and black, same exact fucking gig.
I think I can unify both of these different perspectives. I'm talking about. Oh, go ahead, Coffee.
Well, I was gonna say it's one thing, when you if you make changes to yourself and you become a part of that culture and become a part of that community. In my opinion, that it's
like
it's a way of showing appreciation. Now, when you take it and you go outside that community and you decide to monetize and profit upon that, when the intent is that's not. It's like us taking stuff from the I'm trying to think.
It's about like me going to Mexico and freaking growing a huge handlebar mustache and with my bald head and then change my accent to like some Antonio Banderas accent.
But
for me personally,
that white girl did with where she changed her whole race, like
Rachel Dolezal.
Don't forget Sean King too. I think he was another guy.
Yeah.
He was a dude.
Yeah.
That was just downright disrespectful. What that white girl did. That was just.
That's a perfect example. When you take on the struggle, I think.
I'm gonna say yes and no about Rachel Dolezal.
No. I mean, like,
you always say yes and no.
See, when you like Sean King, that guy in the Black Lives Matter, he was some dude who was passing himself off as a light-skinned black dude. See, when you take on the struggles of a particular culture as your struggles, I think that's what. It's one thing to be a sympathizer. It's one thing to be like, I see, I got resources, I got influence. Let me try to do something. So like an abolitionist, maybe, But it's a whole other thing to position yourself as that disenfranchised group.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is that? What is it?
That's disgusting, man.
That's a cultural
disgusting.
appropriation example. Like
Perfect.
when that girl tried to like pretend that she was she was a black girl going through the struggle too. Like, no, girl, you're a white girl. You didn't have that struggle. You know what I mean? Like
You're German and Czech heritage.
It's wild, man. I do agree. You have to do.
Quote clear from Rabbi Breno. The score.
Oh, that's right, Rabbi. What's up, man?
Well, we have Rabbi and Kiwi, so if they want to chime in.
Hey, Kate.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah. Hi Neil, good to see you. You do realise anyone coming from New Zealand or Australia to break into any genre of music in the States has to change. Whatever they do or however well they do down here, you guys will not like what they do because it's not a personal thing, it's because you're not used to it. So they do, if they're going to break into the American market, they do have to change their words, they do have to change the way they their music, even if it's breaking into country.
But see, that's my thing is, because I remember that with the whole Iggy Azalea thing, a lot of people were saying, well, we want to hear her speak naturally, like her normal accent and rap, like, because no one knows what that sounds like.
You won't get anywhere. Even our top bands, they go to the States and they fail. They have to take on an American accent. They have to sing about American things that Americans will identify with. If they sing about Australia or New Zealand or with our accents, they flop.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Everyone has had to do that, especially the country singers. They just don't get anywhere. Keith Urban, he had to change. He'd done well in Australia for years. Goes to the States, no, nothing. Nobody wants to take him on. Nobody wants to make his records.
So he's a
singer. I understand that point, Kate.
Sorry, Josh?
And I will knock nobody's hustle for trying to make money. If that's what they gotta do, that's what they gotta do.
Yeah.
Lord had to also, she had to change words from her royal song to suit America because it didn't go down well with you guys. And she's been recording since she was about 12.
Yeah.
She didn't go to the States till she was 15, 16. Her first number one hit.
So basically, she ran into that problem at some point.
As soon as she got there.
Well, I'm still interested to hear. I don't even know what it sounds like, just for me.
I'll put up.
I'll probably like to hear it. Get my honest opinion instead of listening to the majority. I'd rather hear myself.
I don't know if the original is still available because, but we'd been listening to her for months before she went to the States.
I think you probably find it on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But I do know she had to change words. She had to change even the music.
And there's Brother Nighthawk.
So we have 3 people joining us this evening. So I'm going to ask all 3 of you. I guess I'm going to do a Cole's Note version of it, of the original question. So again, we're talking about cultural appropriation and has it gone too far? And are people having people who have issues with other cultures appreciating their stuff? Is it really truly an appropriation, or is it more of appreciation? And should people be offended and have the right to confront people who embrace other cultures? So, Rabbi, you haven't said a word yet, so let's get your take.
Ooh, historical review on this one. Yay, yes, sir.
One example is the Khazars, who today you refer to as Jews. The problem with them is that while it's all right that they keep the Torah, uphold the laws, they are doing something by themselves. Israelite biologically, even when it's obvious that who Israelites really are. Talk about it in synagogues. Yeah, I see it as not like that's first foremost appreciation. Take on what else is over the culture because since they have all as a person, Negroes, aka love for the children of Israel, without the knowledge of that, they should be the one tell them at least more so.
Rabbi, I don't know what's wrong with your mic, but you're breaking up.
Okay.
So.
It's true about the concepts. I remember that.
Okay. Kiwi, you wanna?
Yeah. Is appropriation just defined to music and culture?
Well, no.
Or is
As a matter of fact, Dave will give you the exact.
Dave will give you the definition.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right, yeah. That's why I love dual monitors, man. Yeah, appropriation, a deliberate act of acquisition of something, often without the permission of the owner.
So does that include
everything?
Intellectual property?
Yes.
So that will lead to infrastructure
Yes.
of a community.
Yeah.
Like the internet, electricity, phone lines, things like that.
Everything.
So is everybody using that? All cultures?
Without permission of the owner.
Pardon?
But without permission of the owner, so it's like stealing.
Well, I certainly didn't get the permission of. Is it Thomas?
Well, Dave put it at the beginning. Dave put it out there really a good example. At some point in time, if something is not culturally yours, who do you ask permission to get the use of it?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I haven't asked anyone to use a telephone, and I didn't invent it.
Yeah.
Who do I ask?
It wasn't Kiwi technology.
Yeah.
That's what we said about the hair.
If something falls through the crack where other cultures are allowed to use it, I mean, is it the onus on the person who originally owned it to keep it to themselves?
Who originally owned an afro? Or dreadlocks? Because I know it happens to Maori people. Their hair goes into dreadlocks. They also have afros.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. Every race of people have. I mean, genetics is.
Yeah. My dad has an afro. Go figure.
So do we have to ask the population with the biggest number who have it?
That's what I was getting at.
Yes. Can I grow my afro?
Yeah.
Basically, was getting to the point that we got to ask everybody.
We have less people here, so do we have to ask permission for our Maori to grow afros or dreadlocks, which come naturally?
Yep, they go up to the commission. We don't know where the commission is, but you gotta go.
Yeah, that's what it's leaning towards now. Yeah,
the commission
office
opening Monday morning, 9 o'clock at my address.
But the thing also with the appropriation is if someone who doesn't naturally have an afro decides to wear an afro on top of, tanning themselves 5 and 6 times a month and,
but what
getting
if it's
butt implants.
What
if it's a perm that's gone wrong and you didn't want that at all? Because I've seen that happen. They didn't want an afro, but that's what they ended up with.
Yeah, I've
So they
seen
got
some
it cut
photo.
out. They got it totally cut out and ended up with a pixie haircut.
There's also other cultures who are naturally curly, and not just African American have naturally curly hair.
Yeah,
Yes, a lot of Koreans with naturally curly hair.
lots
Yeah,
of
people.
Europeans.
Coffee picture like her hair is naturally curly.
Oh yeah, Coffee's gonna have rollers when he gets older.
I miss my straight hair.
So I'm what y'all talking about curly. I'm the only one with naps, man. Y'all
Exactly. I
talking
mean,
about.
like,
I need to step down game.
where is that fine line, that you draw in the sand saying, okay, enough is enough? If you want to wear your hair curly and you have natural straight hair, who is anyone to say you can't do that?
Right.
And where's the line between a curly hairstyle and an afro?
Oh, you'll know
Because I
after we
know-
see it.
Yeah, you definitely know.
Yeah, but I know. But my hair has, when I
But
was little,
if I wanted to,
now
if I
it can
wanted
go
to have,
really-
if I wanted my hair to be really kinky, who was to say that I would not be allowed to have my hair kinky? Like, who is the judge to say I can't have something?
Well,
Right.
this goes back to my
and
original point.
Where's
It's
the
very-
line between kinky and ultra curly?
Oh, you'll know when you see it.
Well, I mean, because
Jokes aside,
it's like it's an aggressive curl. It's not like not a loose
you
curl.
know a Negro when you see a Negro, man. Come on, man. But seriously,
Like,
look.
if I was, like if I decided to, rock an afro and dress in a traditional African dress and speak in an African language, I mean,
Yes.
would I be appropriation, or would I be like appreciating? I mean, again, it's all about the context of how I'm doing it. Am I doing it to mock it?
Mm-hmm.
Am I doing it to appreciate it? Like, I think it's just the context.
Well,
Or has it got like PC? It's gone too far. Just like everything being PC.
And that's what I see with the modern day pro-blacks. It's like, if they say everyone's from Africa, then why would you have a problem with a race going, well, we want to embrace our African ancestry?
Oh man.
Because go back to.
Isn't it a compliment that somebody will take something from another culture and not offend anybody and
But what
and
is
not
it,
make
again, like,
make it look ridiculous, but they think this is I think this looks great, and to me that's the highest form of a compliment.
Maybe I give a bad scenario. Let's say Halloween, right?
Yep.
If the white dude busts out the Halloween costume and he comes out as Kanye West or something, or Common or something, then it's like, I would kind of feel a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be like, come on, dude, all the fucking people you can be, you're gonna be fucking stupid. But check this out, though. Check this out. But if he just went on Halloween as a regular black dude, I would actually feel worse.
Because Kanye's a joke, and isn't that what Halloween's about? Someone coming out dressed up. So,
that's
that's also a joke.
She hit it on the nail that Kanye's a joke.
Did I say that?
But
Yes.
again, we have a cult. We have, we historically have a holiday that's based on pretty much anything can go, from jokes to serious to appreciation to like everything. So why is it now we've come to this, new road of political correctness where everything is so offensive that you can't even have your day of Halloween where you can be the jokester or just the, politically incorrect individual that, once was okay, but now everything's offensive.
Well, Dragon, it's like, it's this special snowflake shit that's going around. Like, you see a group of people who were impressed. Like, for example, civil rights, black folks at the time in the 60s, segregation. Or before that, you had internment camps for the Japanese and various other Asian groups. Or let's say the gay movement in the late 80s all the way through to now, or feminism from the 70s, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like people are looking around and they're trying to figure out ways that they can get that kind of quote-unquote treatment too, where they can be special, where they can be isolated, where they can be lauded for their struggle. And I think it goes back to our original point. When it reaches the point where somebody is walking down the street and they can be assaulted, stopped, berated, lectured, any of that stuff, we've gone way too far. For example, case in point, remember a couple of years ago, you go outside in a fur coat, these nutcases would throw blood on you.
Yeah, Peter.
You remember that shit?
Yeah,
You think about
Peter.
that. That's what I'm talking about. When you're able to invade somebody's personal space, I might even give you a pass for a lecture, maybe. You know, you might get an argument, a shouting match, or something like that. But when you start altering what I have or where I'm going, I'm walking in this direction. Next thing you know, you're pulling me towards you. Uh-oh. You know, if I'm armed and you die, it ain't my fault, right? If I was that kind of guy, I'm a peaceful guy. I like people, right? But it's just saying that we're getting to the point now where we're allowing certain groups to actually interrupt people and give them a lecture as if they're like 5 years old. Yeah. But like I said, the ultimate proof, and Dragon pointed it out too, when you flip it around, you invert it. You don't see it, the science equation, as you said, you know, when you change the variables in it, and then all of a sudden now it's wrong just because the variables are different. Well, something's wrong with the equation. You know? Yeah.
Well, like, I would understand being harassed by the Jamaican culture if when I visited Jamaica for a couple of weeks.
Oh. Josh, your mic is going haywire.
And let me back in. Just on the biatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I my personal opinion about my topic I brought tonight is, I think that when we discuss about being individuals and being taught, be whatever you want to be, you know, bring good to the world, you know, the second that someone tells me that I can't do something, I'm going to have an issue with it, because I'm a true believer as a grown adult, I'll make my own decisions. I am not doing something to be hurtful, then I shouldn't be scolded at.
Yes.
So if I have a cultural appreciation for an Asian culture, I shouldn't be berated because I've embraced something that I have turned to love and implemented in my life, because culturally I wasn't brought up that way, and racially it's not part of my race identity.
All right, what I was getting ready to say before my mic decided to take shit was I could understand it, you know, the Jamaican culture taking exception with me if I went on vacation to Jamaica for a couple weeks and I came back after a couple weeks and I just talked like this the whole time, man. He said, where are you from? I said, I'd be from Ohio, man. But I literally never stopped talking like that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
I could say people will be like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
Yeah.
No, I'm getting ready to smoke and spit a jumbo with my homeboys. You know, it wouldn't.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
That's not appreciation anymore. That's going into more like appropriation.
Yeah, mockery, making a mockery of their Jamaican culture.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But I mean, let's say you went on vacation and you went to this particular restaurant that made a crazy dish, and all of a sudden you brought it home and that's what you wanted to make all the time. You know, that's an appreciation.
Yeah, that's different.
You're not changing your identity. You're just now embracing other cultures from influence, and you're now incorporating it in your daily life.
Right.
It's just food. Yeah.
It's just food.
Get over it.
It's just food. It's just music. It's just clothing. It's just whatever. You know.
Yeah.
At some point in time, when can we be an individual?
We teach Maori in all our schools now. Is that wrong?
What now?
We teach Maori in our schools now, and everyone gets to learn about it, learn the language. They may not come out.
Are you talking about AZ culture?
That's part of your culture.
It's also part of mine too, because I grew up in it. I may not have the blood, but I grew up in that culture. That's in my head, in my heart. That's what I think of. That's what I relate to. But my
I think absolutely that should be a language or culture you should learn about.
So am I appropriating it or appreciating it? Because it is
Yeah, I
something
would think
I
appreciating.
can't
Yeah.
lose. I can't lose it. I was brought
To a
up
point
from a
where if the Maori came to you and said, "We don't like you doing this," you know,
but they
would
taught
they-
it.
yeah, exactly. It's again the ownership. They brought it to the masses. Now, is it wrong for the masses to incorporate it into their world and then be, like smacked in the head for embracing it? Like,
Back then, a lot of them didn't want it.
yeah. So
A lot of them had also been taught not to use it, speak it, or remember it.
So I mean,
But
if the hip
it
hop
was,
community wanted to keep it in the black culture, then they should have never brought it to the masses.
But they were always saying we want to get it to the masses.
Yeah, but they wanted to make it. So now they brought it out there, so they don't have permission to.
They don't have
about it.
ownership. They don't have ownership over the music anymore.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I said about the yoga. When that guy came over, he started teaching the sanas because he thought that was the easiest shit to understand. He didn't want to teach pranayama because that breath shit was too far out. But he knew that the Westerners, they were getting some crazy poses. He had good intentions, man. But what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
Yep.
And that's what happened, man. The white dude came into the hood for the first time, and the black dudes was like, you know what? Let's show him this rap shit, man.
Yep.
And guess what? Eminem happened. They're like, oh shit, what the fuck?
We got the Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
Oh, I love the Beastie Boys,
I
man.
love the Beastie Boys too.
yeah, they make good music.
Hey, man, I'm start reminiscing on this shit.
We haven't
That's what
heard.
happens when you give up your culture to another culture. It becomes quote unquote appropriated without the theft part.
Yes.
Mhm. So Knight is listening. I don't know. Do you want to participate tonight, Knight?
I don't think he is.
I think he's just listening.
He's just an avatar. Okay, so anyone else want to elaborate on the topics this evening? Like anyone want to have elaborate more from what we've been discussing, or have their own?
you may have covered this, but do you think people are getting more? What's the word? I can't think of the word. Are people getting offended more easily these days?
I think they've been given a position where they think they have the right to now confront whenever they feel offended. Everything's about feelings. Like what offends one person may not offend the masses, but it's only the person who's offended who has the voice.
Yeah, and it's certain people that are okay to have that voice too.
Mm-hmm. That's my point.
It's harder for a man to.
It's in between genders to preach.
It's much harder for a man to pull off the exact same shit that woman pulled off.
Think about
at
it,
that
a white
college.
man and a black dude,
It's
and the
like-
black dude confronted in a fight.
Yeah.
Right.
If it was the reverse, like we were saying earlier, and it sounds repetitive, but if it was a white person confronting a black person about wearing weave, would the atmosphere have been the same? No, because that white person would be considered a bully, would be berated, would
And a racist.
a racist.
Racist.
Flat out racist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, unfortunately, we've been given, this political correctness / pro-black movement thinks that a lot of these individuals think that it's okay now to, go in people's faces and, say, hey, if you're not with us, you're a racist. Like the protests at that one university in the library. If the white people weren't on their side, they were all called racist when they're all studying in the library. Like at some point in time, people are being belittled for accepting accepting everything. Like, hey, you're an individual, do your thing. But if one person feels that, that particular thing offended them, and you don't agree, you're the racist. You're the problem, not the person who's offended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's more cultural inappropriation.
Yeah.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's cultural masturbation. Except you don't feel good after it's done.
Yeah.
Is masturbation different culturally between cultures?
Don't open that rabbit hole, Kate.
But any last words that I have? No, I think we covered most of it. I mean, I think so anyway.
Well, kiwi and coffee kind of coming late. You guys could add
If
a
you
little
want
bit
more to add, yeah, by all means.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm
Coffee.
I'm good.
Everyone's good. So we all agree. Cultural
Yep, well, we kinda
appropriation. Bullshit.
We hit the 2-hour mark, and I think that's a pretty good size show.
Yeah. So.
Well done,
comments.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Leave comments. Like our page. Like the video. We'll be back on Monday. Oh no, Tuesday. Tuesday. Sorry, my bad. Is it Tuesday?
Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday?
One of those days.
No, it's Tuesday.
We'll decide when we go off the air.
It's Tuesday right now. As of now, it's Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't know who's doing the topic, but stay tuned.
Whatever Dave is
It might be Dave or NFC.
Neil's back, man. If he's up for it.
I'm going to be doing one of these topics sometime soon, so anyway.
All right, bye.
Somebody will do a show.
Yes.
Okay. All right.